Just got back from dinner and we had a meeting and we discussed a lot of things. One of those things being the slime farm here is going to be halted as far as construction goes, and we need to decide on a few things. So, the huge problem with this is the fact that in the design process, when you're building a farm, first you want to choose what design you want to go with and or what location. See, like this design was designed around this location. And then you want to go, optimize the design, make it something you're completely happy with, and then comes the design stage. Well, the design stage was pretty much muted with this project. It was basically completely ignored, and the guys just kind of went into building it. And now we need to do one of a few things. So, one of the things that we could do is to just design around this, make this happen, make it look good, make a shell around it, maybe to cover it. Or the other way would be to completely redo everything. Go with my original theme with the rustic wooden theme to fit the Ruby Center and the huts, or something similar. And I'm not really sure where we're going to go with that. Of course, I'm not a builder, so we're just kind of waiting to see what they say as far as that goes. But as for now, the slime farm progress is halted. Alright, I'm gonna do one last thing just to kind of finish up this little impromptu episode, and that's that this chunk loader line here doesn't really have anywhere to go. If you refer all the way back to the episode where I lit up the quad witch huts, I gave them an on-off. I mentioned that I had three things to do, and this was one of the three things. As an update to that, by the way, we still haven't quite address the issue where they don't actually turn on and off with the redstone line that I used. I just need to work with Nuke and see if we can get that sorted out, because I think he's the one who did the wiring on that, and I can't really do it. But I want to talk about my Patreon. So I started a Patreon. Mentioned it in a video. Not a lot of people watched it, not unexpectedly, but it wasn't really the most popular of things, so I wanted to address it in one of my Minerva logs because it's kind of a big deal. These episodes are really hard to record, especially on Minerva, where there are areas like this, and I'm getting 30 FPS, and this affects the recording, and it makes everything look worse than it should, and it makes it harder for me to record on more intensive days, like if this Ruby Center was sorting, and I was doing a bunch of other things in the background, and then I went to hit record, some days I'm not even able to. That's kind of a problem. It would just be amazing, much more easy to make these episodes and record and render and edit and all these things that go into video production if I had a CPU that was up to the task. Currently I don't, and an upgrade would cost more money than I have, and that's where the Patreon comes in. YouTube is pretty much my only income right now, and it's not a lot. I mean, that's okay. It's fine. I don't do it for that reason, but if I had a little bit of help, at least from the viewers and people who wanted to support my content, that would really go a long way. So I wanted to bring this up in the video, and it's linked in all my new descriptions. I'm not going to update all my old videos, but every video past this point will probably have a Patreon linked unless something changes. And if you want to go support me, go check that out. There are a lot of rewards that I listed on the Patreon page, and some of them I think are better than others, but I didn't really know exactly what to put for all those, so any and all feedback on that would be appreciated. Even if you're not a patron, it would be great to have feedback on what people would say. Of course, it means more if you are actually going to donate and you said, hey, it'd be great if I could get this, and be like, sure, yeah. Anyway, oh, and also these redstone lines are from a different project, kind of an archaic one from a long time ago, and, well, they're ugly and needless, so I'm getting rid of them. This is unbelievable. I'm mining down another one of these towers, and then suddenly I have an item frame and a map in my inventory, and now I have Ina's face staring at me. Are these things seriously just hidden everywhere? How did he even do that? So I don't know if I actually mentioned this in a video. I might have, but the on-off switch for the witch huts is wired up there, and then I use doors on top of observers facing into blocks into doors, going all the way down to bring the signal over, and this is supposed to be the on-off. This is the circuit in question and why the witch huts aren't working, but I did get all those ugly redstone lines down, and I'm thinking I'm going to do this exact same thing over here. What I'm actually going to do is a whole other question on its own. The chunk loader, I mean... Oh, actually, I just realized the chunk loader needs to be smart. Okay, this might be a little bit more tricky than I thought. So, what you'd have to do... Alright, I need spectator mode if I'm going to really visualize this. The idea is the Ruby Center will actually chunk load itself whenever it's sorting items, and then what it'll do is turn off the chunk loader when it's done. And that needs to have about a 6-minute delay because the longest item stream in here is from there all the way to the overflow chest, I believe takes about 6 minutes. In fact, let's actually test that now. So what we're going to do is going to send in an item that can't be sorted and something I don't care if it's not. There we go, we'll throw in a map. And we'll start the clock. Let me pull out my phone real quick. You guys aren't going to get a timer on the screen, I'm so sorry, even though I'm going to cut all of this anyway. And let's start the timer now. And there we go. So once it's in the chest, it'll get shot out, and I will update you guys with how long it takes. I'm impressed! It went through the entire system in 4 minutes and 28 seconds, running at 20 TPS. That's exciting, actually. I was expecting about 6 minutes. Well, that's a lot of ice. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, alright, so 4.5 minutes is how long we need to chunk load. The reason I even tested this is because I believe it takes 5 stacks of items about 5 minutes to go through hoppers and then back. So a simple hopper clock is like the easiest way to make a clock for this, or a long delay. I should cut, maybe, because I did this on the last storage room, and I'm kind of thinking out loud here. But the idea is, I limit the clock, okay. So what I did was I have the comparator coming out of here, go into a 4-tick repeater, and then that goes into another clock, so it's ever so slightly delayed so that the dropper has always at least one item in it while it's sorting. This means that I can get a constant output from the dropper, and then I just face it out of this block. That will go into an inverter so that it doesn't really do anything, but as soon as that's empty, it triggers a 4-minute delay, or in this case, I guess a 4.5-minute delay. And then once that delay is up, the system now assumes that this Ruby Center is now done sorting, and then it turns off the chunk loader. That's a great system, except that I have 2 of them. I have 2 clocks in this system. So if I'm going to be able to... Well, actually, here's the thing. Because when it's sorting up here, I believe it disables the clock down here, which is a little bit inverted. So yeah, the main sorting system actually takes priority over the shulker box sorters, which is fine, that makes sense. However, I'm going to need to have another separate wiring, and you can see all of this mess of wire everywhere is for the clock. So if I'm going to be able to actually get in there and make this thing, then I'll be able to at least get somewhere. So I do at least have the benefit of having already done this project in the past, so I kind of already know what I'm doing. Not that it's going to be, you know, easy. It's just going to be less insanely difficult. Like, I guess I could do a little bit more compromise, like I could take this wire over a block. I mean, this clock isn't static, you guys. I can change any of the wires in here that I need to, so long as they do the same thing that they did before. Huh. Okay. I'm actually going to cut to our old system just so I can show you guys what we're talking about, and then I'll try and set it up for this. Oh man, I'm taking a trip down memory lane here. I just spawned in at a guardian farm. None are spawning right now, and I'm not sure why. There is a guardian up there, so I know I'm not on peaceful, but this is what our old guardian farm used to look like. I'm showing this in the video because I know it's been a long time since we've really constructed a mega build on Minerva, and I'm not saying this is a mega build, but I just want to kind of reiterate what we're capable of, if you will. This is our old guardian farm, and I really think we outdid ourselves. I love the look of this thing. It took forever to do, but was totally worth it. And then even within render distance, we've got just over here, let me load it for a second, we've got a mushroom farm that never actually got finished. This is the oh, I'm back. Okay. I could definitely use a CPU upgrade. Oh, you know what? I bet it's because I'm looking at the string. That's interesting. So I'm having trouble rendering the string, but hopefully you can get from this that it's a mushroom farm. This was the last thing that we actually worked on the server. We planned to have this go up 8 layers, but then never actually got there. So unfortunately, this will forever remain incomplete. But we're not here for that. We're here to check out a sorting system.